Greetings, collective. Welcome back to 707 Light Sage Tarot. We're going to get ready to get into a message inspired by Divine Source, El Shaddai, the creator of all that is, Father of earth, Father of heaven, Father of all things that exist. I thank you for this day. Thank you for the clarity, truth, and knowing, insight, and wisdom that you bring forth to myself and the collective at large. I'm grateful for the gifts and for the talents, for the ability to use these gifts for the purpose of healing through love. Ashe. Thank you for those that are standing with me in this walk, in this truth. I send you love wherever you're at in this beautiful existence. And we are in the full moon energy, so I don't know what your life is looking like. Hopefully, everything is working out as it should according to divine will and divine timing, that you're trusting and you're releasing and allowing things to fall where they need to fall and things to uproot wherever they need to be uprooted. Hopefully you are detaching from circumstances, places, people, and within yourself in the areas that are unhealthy, unhealed, or that are of a darker aspect. Prayerfully, you are shifting more so to the light, knowing that all things do come from the dark aspects of one's being, as far as where one at once there was a hidden knowledge, not knowing, not being aware of who you are, perhaps, and coming into the truth of the understanding of who you are. There's the revelation, that is the light, that is the illumination that helps your shadow side to I want to say grow, but more so evolve, right? Because not to grow more so in the dark, but to evolve from darkness into light. Hopefully, I'm making sense for you guys. So, the message today can speak about someone that may be learning how to detach, learning how to let go of unhealthy patterns of just maybe unhealthy relationships and creating your own happiness from within. If you can come to that realization that happiness stems from within and not without, you'll do well to have that understanding under your belt, like really be strong in it. So I ask the Holy Spirit to guide at this time the Ruach HaKodesh to bring forth the words of clarity, the words of truth that is needed to be heard at this time for the collective. I do use tarot and oracle cards to assist me in bringing forth messages. If that's not your cup of tea, I will catch you on another video, perhaps, in another lifetime, perhaps. I don't know. But thank you for those that are tuning in, those that are subscribing to the channel and showing me love by way of positive energy. Thank you. I appreciate your high vibe. I appreciate the effort that you're taking towards your journey and the seriousness that you're putting forth in getting your mind right and staying right. That's important. All right. So projections, full moon energy projections perhaps could be the focus, or it could be just you learning how to withdraw your energy from certain circumstances that no longer serve you. Whatever the case may be, wherever you're at, again, on that path, on that road to healing and recovery, may you be strengthened, may your faith be increased in the aspect of your development and your transformation. Okay, so I wrote a few things down. We'll see what we're going to connect to. I'm just going to put this down for a minute. So definitely placing your happiness in others is going to create those patterns of attachments, okay? For some, if you're finding that others have been attacking you, just know that your spiritual knowledge and experience, your spiritual knowledge and experience of spirituality, that is helping to keep you grounded and protected. So be mindful to continue with whatever practices you're using at this time to ensure that you maintain that grounded energy and continue to be unfazed by the workings of those who lean more so to their shadow side. Okay, there's something about the moon, it's something about your intuition, it's something about hidden knowledge or truths that may be coming more clearer for you at this time. Okay. So this is a great time for you to do a cleansing bath, and releasing whatever, let's say, way of thinking, actions or deeds or patterns, habits. If you're dealing with any addictive tendencies, this is a great opportunity for you to set some intentions and clear those energies out, or take the initiative to remove things from your dwelling, remove things from your persons. Even if people are trying to like have a new start, cutting, like hair cutting, may be something that would be great for someone around this season. Take it how it resonates, guys. Okay. So if you look at yourself in the mirror and you find that you're not liking what you see, perhaps one, you're looking from a slated view. Okay. Just it's a distorted vision that you may be seeing or projecting from inwardly. And that can stem from perhaps just, areas from your past or relationships and those leftovers. Okay. Leftovers can be viewed as baggage or emotional ties that are still unresolved, and they come out by way of your perception, how you're seeing things. And we're talking about how you're seeing yourself. Okay. So it's important that when you look at yourself in the mirror, that what you see is something that you are proud of, something that you're happy about. If there's areas within yourself where you continually doubt, you continually have low self-esteem, you continually have issues with your confidence, these are inner workings. There's things that you need to work on within to help to strengthen those areas. Okay, so that you're not condemning yourself continually, so you're not self-sabotaging, or you're not leaning or turning towards behaviors that would hinder your growth and progress. So self-validation is important. Okay, it's important for you to validate yourself. Make sure you're not looking for others to validate you. Okay. Anything else? Something about your inner core strength. Strengthening your inner core. So someone may have to increase their physical activities by way of stretches, I guess, yoga, movement of the core muscles, back, abdomen, things of that nature. I take that message for myself as well. This will strengthen areas within yourself that you're also struggling with, the things that you can't tangibly touch or feel, okay, as far as like confidence level and courage, things of that nature. As you strengthen your being physically, these other aspects within yourself becomes strengthened. I had a client one time, and they were telling me, younger client at that, and the wisdom that they had from their youth, it's interesting. And I was able to see it from their perspective, which is, because they had low self-esteem, confidence issues, self-image issues, right? They were very focused, very focused, maybe hyper focused even on their image, their presentation, their appearance, because they wanted to look good, right? And they felt if they did the work externally to look good, then inwardly they would feel good. And it does work hand in hand. So I can see what they were saying. Sometimes I look, hey, if you work on the inside, then yes, that will help the external as well. But realistically, both goes hand in hand. Okay, that's the point. Okay. Okay. All right. How do we want to start here? Let's see how we're going to start. I'm working with the Sacred Geometry card deck at this time. Okay, I see these two are kind of sliding out. I'll just look at them. All right, so we have Divine Feminine Energy and Transition. Bottom of the deck, Coherence, number 13. Something about what you're desiring, what you're trying to create. So if you are trying to give something, like you're creating something, and whatever you're creating is to be of service to others, just know that there's something internally that you have to do first. Okay? Something that you have to work on within yourself before you present something to someone else. This is talking about receptivity, okay? So if you're trying to give a gift, give a talent, share something, you have to know that these things are already within you. Like, so you have to receive. So there could be just messages you need to receive or guidance you also need to receive as you are trying to create something. Something may not feel right in the moment of you trying to give something. That's an indication that either it's not ready or there could be some blockages. It could be just you need to do some more work in certain areas. You may need to learn how to surrender and let go of things. So, as I was preparing, right, meditating, I was thinking about how we have a personality that is developed as we are maturing, like from a child into our adulthood. And this personality is strongly connected to our familial connections, family members, parents, siblings, and extended, relatives. And there's an identity that is formed around this ego, right? This view of self. And when you're going on your healing journey, unfortunately, there's a shedding that takes place. Let me rephrase that. Fortunately, I said unfortunately, but it's a fortunate thing that is happening, that those things are shedded, okay, or are falling away. It's a falling away of a false narrative. It's a falling away of a way of existing that no longer serves you. And I am sure if you are into tarot, if you are watching YouTube videos on spiritual healing and growth and development and all this jazz, ascension and whatnot, awakening, definitely you've heard that before. And there's a lot of truth to that because your identity is tied to your past, right? In a very huge way. And so many times, yeah, there's no way of escaping your past per se, because there's things that are woven into the fiber of your being or fabric of your being. Someone may sew. Okay, that's just to let you know this message is resonating with you. Fine needle and thread, sewing by hand at that. So someone is very focused on paying attention to the details. So you could resonate with the Virgo energy, or just someone that is very analytical or pays very close attention to the small things. Maybe you sweat the small things. Maybe you overthink the small things. Okay, thank you, Spirit, for the message and guidance at this time. Okay, so speaking about the shedding of that ego, the shield, the protective presence that we have to walk around in society. Think about it. If we are spiritual beings, which we are, I'm thinking about water, okay? And then I'm thinking about water that's free formed. It's without form, okay? It's just moving as we are spiritual beings moving in this atmosphere. Then there's the shell. There's the shell, which is the container, the covering of that substance of water, which is your body. So our bodies house our spirit, right? So the shell houses the liquid, the water, okay? And the form of this element of water, it becomes solidified. It's solidified by way of the experiences, interactions that we have in the earth. Okay, many times we get detached from the essence of who we are, the core of who we are. Now, I was speaking initially about personality and your upbringing, as far as your relationships with family members and extended loved ones and your community associations, and how that helps to form your identity. This is now talking from a higher perspective, right? Where spiritually, we are birthed into the earth and we take on this shape. We take on this character, right? This avatar, some say, and we forget the essence of our truth. Okay. It's important to know that when you do change let's say frequencies, or when you do change containers, okay, or shells, your essence remains the same. Okay, so if you think about it, when you are in a connection with your loved ones that are familial and they know certain things about you, um, they know how to relate to one way, right? When you ascend, or when you're going through your awakening process and your frequency is changing, literally it's like your cells are changing. You begin to become unrecognizable, right? They may be looking at the same person as far as your appearance, your maybe demeanor, right? You may still walk the same way. Your voice may sound the same, or for some it doesn't. The point is there's a familiarity that's there that they can still resonate with. However, there's something that is different. There's something that is more unique. It's off, and they cannot connect with that aspect of who you are. It is because you have gone within and you have reconnected with your essence more so. So it's interesting because the family is meant to shape and mold, right? Society is meant to shape and mold, and we become this, whatever this is, right? The process of awakening involves cutting away of various soul ties, and that process in itself can be very, very painful. Think about the divine feminine and a mother giving birth to a child, and you have the umbilical cord. We don't fully know if there's any type of painful sensation that is remembered um, in that child when that cord is cut, or in that mother, right? We don't know how that pain translates in the body or in their spiritual being when that cord is cut, okay? But perhaps there is a sense of discomfort when you are detaching. I know personally for me there is, because it's a death. It is a dying process. It is the ending of one thing that was, and a beginning of something new that is unfamiliar, unformed. It's in the process, right? It's in the process of getting the form or the shape, okay? And it's interesting because, maybe it never will get to a certain shape again, like a form where it is always constant in that shape. Perhaps we're supposed to be fluid. Perhaps we're supposed to continually be moving as water does move, right? It's motion. Perhaps the goal of ascension is for us to continually flow in that energy of movement, growth, and evolution, okay, where we're continually transforming time and time and time and time again. And it's interesting because perhaps it's to get back to divine light. I mean, if I say a sense of nothingness, then maybe that won't resonate, because we understand that there's purpose and there's meaning. So a sense of nothingness just means to me where it's not necessarily that you are, like, you can't be defined or you can't be contained by any one thing, if that makes sense. That's when I say nothingness, it's like the unknown. You will always be transforming into the unknown. Okay, you're always going to be growing into the unknown. I never fully understood Prince. Like, I listened to his music, but I didn't really follow, a lot of these superstars. I appreciate their music, but I never really got into music like that, where I studied the artist's life. I appreciated the song, and the song was really what carried me more so, right? Versus getting into their personal and understanding them as an individual. But I remember he did something with his name, right? Where it became a symbol. And I think the artist that's unknown, I don't remember what the symbol represented, but um, I think I understand a little bit of perhaps his train of thought and what he was trying to do. It's a sense of, and this is just me with my view on the situation, a sense of getting outside of the box where you are confined to a certain presentation in society, or you're confined to a certain way of existing. in the earth, where there's nothing that can tie you or bind you to any one thing. It's a sense of freedom, essentially. So the nothingness that I speak of now through the Holy Spirit is where you are unrestrained. And it's not unrestrained where there's a wild nature, and like a wild horse, no, needing to be tamed. It's not that. It's that there's so much level of self, I want to say self control. However, that's not the best fit. More so, maybe self management, right? Because control, that's restrictive also. That sounds like that's containing something. This is more so managing self. So self management or self execution, like you know how to execute yourself in such a way. This is not talking about ending your life. This is talking about putting things into place, putting things into action that is going to always produce life. Okay, it's always producing life for you. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. All right, this is where the moon's energy is bringing me today, guys. So just roll with it. If it's not resonated, then it's not your message. Okay. So transition, allow transition to occur with ease and grace. When we are attached to an idea of who we think we're supposed to be, it's hard for us to shift. It's hard for the process of change to take place. Okay. We may be met with a lot of resistance. Resistance could show up in our lives where we may be in a work environment that we are dissatisfied with. We may be in a friendship that is not aligned. We may be in a relationship that is causing a lot of conflict or disruption. So whenever something has happened internally with our water system, okay, with our cells, with our self, it will translate into something in the natural where you can hopefully see it. The unfortunate thing about this is because many of us may not be paying attention to the byproduct of these connections or these interactions, we allow things to progress until it becomes very overwhelming, even incontrollable many times. If you think about boiling water, now it's fine to allow the water to boil to a certain extent. Like the temperature has to be at a certain degree to neutralize out any toxins, like to purify or distill the water, right? So with that process, with the friction of the heat, it's a sense of it's agitating the water molecules, and it's causing that condensation to rise, and you got the steam, and then impurities are removed or neutralized. But the more that thing boils, if it's we're talking about cooking, something can spill over. And also, if it continues to boil, eventually that pot is going to be empty. There's going to be nothing left, right? So that is what that would look like in reality, is someone who has exhausted themselves completely, where you have been trying to maintain or control, more so contain a situation that is not for you to contain, or that is not even for you. And whatever that situation may be, it could be the work, it could be the friendship, it could be the romantic partnership, okay? Whatever that will translate to in your life, put it where it fits. So, message. There's someone that has to learn, and it could be that the way you've been learning some things in life has been very painful, very, very difficult, and someone may have their walls up. right? Someone could be very guarded at this time. So it's a sense of like a obstacle or roadblock where there's an unwillingness to transform, an unwillingness to transition out of something, an unwillingness to change. This could be if this is not a feminine energy as far as you being a female, gender female, it could be that if it's a masculine, your ability to nurture yourself has been stunted or impacted in a way where you don't know how to give yourself what you need, and you have to attach yourself to feminine energies to get something from them, to heal yourself. The beauty of who we are as individuals, as spiritual beings, is that we have the ability to heal ourselves by way of our intentions, our executive functions, right? Like we can set intentions within ourselves by way of being self aware, by knowing what's going on, and being deliberate with our actions, with our words, with our thoughts. This is how we are able to heal ourselves. So if we think a certain way, then we create this in our atmosphere internally. That's what will translate in your physical world, right? As a man thinks, so is he. That's what the scripture says. And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So corruption doesn't necessarily come from someone else tainting you. It comes from perhaps a distorted view of yourself or a distorted view of someone else. It's something about how you are perceiving the information or the interaction or whatever exchange you're having, whether internally or externally. That is what is causing the sickness. That is what is causing the disruption or the disturbances. Now, that's one aspect. I will have to put it out there because, it is the full moon and it's a season of just, when I say season, the timing of this cycle, it is to expose, also to illuminate, right? And so dealing with the shadow parts of one's psyche, some people can intentionally use this energy to distort whatever situations by way of these projections, right? Creating an illusion where another person may pick up on this, especially if you're an intuitive or empath and, you just are aware or maybe unaware, okay? Take it how it resonates. But you may be finding that you may have thoughts that are not yours. You may be seeing things in your dreams that they are not from you. Like these memories are not your lived experiences. And so it's for you to be able to decode these messages and label them as, like accurately label, false illusions or negative thinking patterns. Just put it where it fits, guys, and debunk those things pretty much. Okay, so projections that are sent from an external avenue. Okay, but it looks like today's message could be speaking about you not putting so much focus on the external because people are going to do what they do. It's you, again, strengthening your spiritual aptitude so that you are more aware of who you are. You know your strengths better, and you acknowledge your weaknesses equally, right? That's a sense of balance. That is producing a sense of harmony within, okay? We all have areas that we struggle with, okay? No one is perfect. However, we do strive for perfection, granted. Along the way in our aspirations to be this whatever light being, energy of healing and love and all of this good stuff, we may stumble along the way. And it's important that we reposition ourselves. If we do find that we falter, we reposition ourselves. You know, you fix your hat. Some people say fix your crown. So definitely could be speaking to a masculine as well who may not know how to give to themselves. And that it could be a blockage in your transformation journey. All right. Okay. I just I just looked at a song and the author, you may be author, but the writer or the person that sings the song, first name is Chris, so that could be your name. Tom is in their last name, so that could be your name, or you may know someone whose name is Tom. I'm speaking to someone who may be dealing with a sense of rejection, humiliation, or insult. That takes me to the scripture where the Messiah repeatedly was, insulted, right? Bruised, for our iniquities, right? Scripture says, took on a lot of people's projections. Like he was hated for good. And he was tortured and essentially sacrificed. So it was a sense of removing that light out of the way because perhaps the individuals at that time were not able to live up to that reflection, right? So we're a reflection, right? Water does reflect, right? So we reflect things into the earth, and sometimes it resonates and someone could receive that and it gels, or you can work well with that person. However, other times it's repelled. Your reflection could be repelled. It's not to say there's anything wrong with your reflection if you are operating in love and light. And even if you're reflecting something darker, it's for the other person to be aware of what it is that they're seeing and still be able to send love and light and not take offense to it. So both coins, right? The point of the story is that in all the assaults and the humiliation that the Messiah went through, never once did he hurl an accusation or speak an ill word against any of those that were harming him. In fact, he was very quiet. He continued to do his work of healing and standing in his truth because he was convinced of his purpose. He knew what he was there for, and the time that he was birthed into, there was a lot of religiosity, if that's even a term, that ruled that culture, that society. And anyone that went against that, it was seen as an outsider. So it's the same as today, guys, in many ways. Point, again, is that even though we may have the authority to judge, which we do, we can judge a situation accurately, of course, by way of the Holy Spirit, using discernment and being guided by divine light. We can definitely judge a situation accurately. The point is not to become tainted by the insults, by the offenses, by the humiliation. It is to remain blameless and continue on the path that has been set before you. Okay. Jeweled web. And it came out in the reverse as I was speaking about that sense of rejection. And this could be where someone has a hard time connecting within, right? There could be an interruption. There could be something that's interrupting the connection. What could be interrupting that connection, where if you're trying to go within, or if you're trying to release something, or if you're trying to identify an area within yourself so that you can actually put some positive intentions towards that, towards, repairing or healing that, there's something that could be disrupting the process. And it could be, again, a relationship. The relationship could be the relation to self, if we want to look at it first inwardly. Do you feel as though you're worthy of whatever it is? Do you feel as though you are deserving? So self-worth, right? So look at those areas within yourself, okay? Do you doubt your ability to do this? Okay, so your faith, okay? Now, if you're looking externally, again, those connections. Are you in healthy connections? Are you surrounding yourself in a community where people support you? Or are you surrounding yourself in a community where, people may smile in your face, but their intentions towards you are not the best? Now, granted, I get it where, it may be in a situation where, let's say, you are transitioning, you are growing, things are going well for you, and perhaps for someone else, it's not going as well, right? There could be the energy of jealousy that wants to come into the mix, whether people know it or not. Like, because again, if you're not aware of the energy that you carry, then it's like no harm, no foul. However, we're all going to be held accountable. So the first person that we hold accountable is ourselves. How we do that is by doing some introspection, by being self-aware, knowing what you're thinking, knowing what your thoughts are, knowing what your desires are for yourself and what your desires are for other people. If when you do that and you come to the realization, the understanding that your desires for others are not the best, those are areas that you have to heal. So the disconnect could be one of those things I just mentioned: jealousy, like feeling unworthy, so self-worthiness, or where your desires or intentions for others are not the best. If any of those things, and it could be more, but those are the things that Spirit just pointed out to me. If any of those are relevant, then you've targeted the blockage. You've pinpointed the area that's causing a pause or a disruption in your healing process, or in your ability to be open and receptive to whatever it is Spirit is trying to get you to be open and receptive to. Okay. So before I come on this camera, I always got to check myself and make sure that I'm in alignment, right? And that my intentions are pure. Because if I come on here and I'm spitting anything other than what is at my core, then there's a disconnect. It's going to be a message that is not as truthful as it could be or as it should be. Okay. Where else? All right, so this is causing challenges in the area of you transforming. 23, as I'm reading this upside down, it's actually 32, but how I'm reading it, it's a sense of, number 5, where you're being met with some type of challenges or some type of resistant energy. And that's inhibiting the ability to go to the next, whatever the next is for you, whatever the next phase or the next stage is for you. By simply bringing awareness by either way of this video or you doing whatever you're doing and taking the next steps, you may find that that blockage is cleared and things may start to open up for you, okay? So someone could feel very alone right now, but just know that even in that, you are supported. Meaning, maybe you need that time right now for yourself. Maybe you need to just understand yourself better, know yourself better, okay? Maybe pray more, meditate more, go outside more, connect with the elements more. That will help you connect within better. Okay? Even to the smallest thing, as far as a blade of grass, that may be very insignificant to someone, right? Like, that's just grass, right? It's here today, gone tomorrow. Well, that's how breath is. We are flesh, right? Spirits within this fleshly body having that experience, and we have no control over breath, so to speak, as far as when it is time for us to leave this space, we're gone, okay? And when you leave the space, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered? Are you off the train of thought, like, you know what? While I'm here, I'm going to just burn everything down and have no regrets? That could be your mission. That could be why you're here. Again, it's what are you yielding your vessel to? Some are vessels of honor and some are vessels of dishonor. So again, the polarities, something has to give, someone has to take, right? It's the universe it's balancing the light and the dark, okay, to maintain order, all right, or maintain a level of cohesion more so, okay. This says, coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. So if all we see is, let's say, challenges, or all we see is, oh, life is a struggle always, every time, nothing ever works out. It's all my fault. I am this, I am that. Like if that's all that we see, then that's all that we are. And so the power to create comes from source, right? And again, if you connect with the essence that you are spirit, you are able to come into the awareness of who you truly are, which your life force, your life, your breath, okay? Your spirit, okay? You're formless as water, and you can become, all right? So you can become everything or you can become nothing at all. So it's you learning how to move in that element and be free in knowing who you are, be okay with who you are. It's that's a priority more so than what you have, I would say. But again, take it how it resonates. It's important to know who you are more than what you have. Because when you think of the have, maybe someone's mind may jump directly to the material, right? And that can cause you to get stuck in that gear, okay? Because all I have is this, all I have, or I have this, and then it's a sense of setting a limitation in a way. But when you think of who you are, the possibilities are endless. Who you are directly will correlate with what you'll have based on who you are. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this could be, if this is a masculine, this could be a masculine that's very tied to the material and accumulation of whatever in the tangible sense has been something that you prize yourself on or that drives you, it motivates you. And then when you don't have these things that you can touch, handle, or connect to in the physical, it leaves a sense of emptiness, perhaps, and despair and void. And that's where the questions begin to turn to where you question your worthiness, you question your strengths. So you begin to start peeling away off the fiber of your being. Like It could be someone that is going through a shadow death, a ego sublimation. So that probably is what I'm picking up on. Which again, with this full moon energy, that is fitting if that's the case. If you're not there, brace yourself. This may be what you're getting ready to go through. So think about a train going through a dark tunnel. All right. You don't know where the end of that tunnel is, but the tunnel does have an end. However, when you're in this tunnel, there's nothing but darkness. Even the lights in the train may go out for some trains, right? May lose connectivity. So this is again, someone's light may have gone out. Your ability to inspire yourself, to inspire change in others. Okay, so this could be someone trying to inspire and change in others, but you yourself, you're dead in a way, spiritually. Okay, so if you're not connected to the light source or the life giving source, how can you inspire and teach and give life to anyone else? It doesn't work that way. And if it gives the appearance of growth, again, this is simply the ego being fed or being puffed up. And eventually, what goes up must come down, right? So regardless, it's either it will happen now, sooner or later. It's inevitable. Anything that's based on something that is false, it doesn't have the foundation or the essence to root and ground and be lasting. Okay. So someone's focus is being turned back to your creator, who fashioned and formed you, who sustains you, who gives you life every moment of your existence. So if you think about a candle with the wick, right? Let's say that's us as individuals. We're a candle with a wick, right? The wick is an extension of ourselves, right? Our source, our base is that candle. Who lights us? Who has the authority to ignite that flame? Source, right? So eventually, perhaps we will get to that place in our evolution where we are able to ignite ourselves. And I would say that does happen to a certain extent because you become inspired, right? You have inspiration and you create things, you have ideas. And so while the initial spark comes from that initial breath that creates all life force, we then in turn, as an extension of source, can now ignite ourselves and others by adding to one another and sharing the beauty of our experiences in a very healing and a positive way. So someone may have to rethink their approach to something and ensure that they have also done the work before they try to establish something that is geared towards either giving or teaching, or if this is someone that's on a platform, just be mindful. Because, with a teacher, with someone who is trying to guide, that's a lot of responsibility. And you want to make sure that, one, you know how to guide yourself in the right way. Again, self-management, okay? So that you can then share your wisdom with another person. All right, so it's a sense of not necessarily overdoing something, but it's more so you have to be smarter. And the knowledge that you gain through sources different from the knowledge you gain through the books, through studying something tangible. Like when Yehoshua was walking in his time, they questioned, like, how does he know this, right? Because the scholars and the scribes, right, they have to study at a young age. They gotta be trained up, right? And this is a youth at the time when he first appeared in the Beit HaKnesset, or the synagogue at the time, where all the leaders are at, and he's quoting knowledge far beyond his years. Where does that come from? The Spirit of God, the Spirit of truth. So you can have the book knowledge and be void of the Spirit of life, as far as that wisdom. It's like a dead man talking, right? The words that you have, there's no power and there's no authority behind it, because you're disconnected from the one who gives power and gives authority. So someone may be questioning, how is it that you do what you do? How is it that you're able to blah, 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 right? You're getting the 411 on it. There has to be a direct connection to source. There has to be a direct link. There has to be a relationship that is developed over time. Because we can actually, if you think about it, we can actually sit and meditate and tap into many things, right? We can, and we can access things that are beyond our pay grade or beyond our expertise. But what do you do with that wisdom? What do you do with that knowledge? And who is giving it to you? And why? Right? Again, the shadow side. We can shift to the left, or we can shift to the right, or we can maintain that even keel, that grounded position, and still have the freedom to move about in our beings and be successful. I'm grateful that I am not alone and that I'm fully supported. And it's important for all of us to perhaps come to that realization that we are not alone. I was outside last night looking up into the sky, as I enjoy doing, and I saw all these stars, and the moon was beautifully glowing in its fullness, and yeah, in all its brilliance. And I just love looking at the full moon. And I was looking. I have this little device where, like a monocular, and you can kind of tune in a little bit more. And I'm looking at the stars and just I'm fascinated, because I'm wondering, well, who's looking at me? I'm looking at the writings in heaven, and I wondered who is looking at me and who's looking at my story, my writing in the earth, right? Because we're not alone, guys. Okay, we are not alone. There are others. There are other celestial beings that exist outside of this space, outside of this dimension, and in this dimension, if we have the ability to see and to know and to be aware. So keep that in mind. Nothing to fret about. It's, again, awareness. Awareness is important. Someone may definitely need to connect with water I usually talk about grounding, but for some reason, the energy of water is coming through today, probably because we're in the full moon, right? The moon controls the tides. The emotions can be heightened right now, and you may need to release some things by the water and perhaps connect more so with your essence as spiritual beings. All right. Bottom of the deck energy, we're seeing Fool's Embrace. Clearly, you see a full moon. 22, a sense of balance, grounding your energy. And this is transmuting pain. So this is a great time to acknowledge whatever you're feeling. If you're feeling isolated, if you're feeling abandoned, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling a sense of despair, that definitely could cause blockages. So you must release those things. This person is almost suspended in air. It's a crystallization of their, let's say, I want to say ethereal body. So the inability to advance or the inability to take flight because there's a weight that you're carrying for someone. And that's inhibiting your ability to shift. Also, this can cause your growth, right, to be stunted. Psychologically, that is, where your mind cannot get past something. Your mind is trapped in an experience for someone. A world between a world. And then I wanted to say a world trapped within or trapped beneath. So let's say this is a world above, this is a world below, and there is the elevation and there's the meeting, like something coming down to meet you, right? Let's say this is you. There's could be someone that is realizing that you're in the middle or in between two spaces. That could look like you trying to elevate and move forward, but then you are stuck to something below. The below could represent the past or the painful experiences or the inability to connect within, to connect back to self. Like whatever that is for you, put it where it fits, guys. Unmarked trail, it says. So there's a lot more to be done, to be explored, to be discovered. And yeah, there's a lot more for someone to learn. A lot more for you to learn. Look at this person by the water. You need to go by water, to be by water, be in nature, but by water. There's something that you're going to gain just by doing that. There's something, right. Someone is going through this. So your reflection, how you see yourself, that's going to be changing. Okay. There's something that you're here to do. I don't know what. That's for you to figure out. Okay. It's a part of your purpose. And here is the curious cat, right? You looking at these aspects of yourself. Because remember, water is like a mirror, right? You coming to the realization, you realizing something about yourself and breaking through that. freeing. You got to set yourself free. Nobody else is going to be showing up to set you free. There's work you have to do. You're here to do something. It's to break the illusion, whatever that illusion is for you. I don't know. You have to rewrite your story in a way that makes sense now. You've been given this opportunity. All right? You've been given this opportunity. So what are you going to do? Yeah, you may feel strange initially, or you feel like a stranger now with the connection that you're in or around, because it's not making any more sense. Clearly, because you're transforming. So they're not going to resonate as much as they used to. So that means you need to find your space. Where do you belong? Usually, once you find out where you belong within, like you come back home, that's that internal work, okay? Then naturally you gravitate to the place where it makes sense for you, okay? These are all hidden. Treasures hidden in the shadows. So while you're going through that tunnel and it looks dark, it is unfamiliar, and you don't really know where it's going, but you know you're going somewhere, prayerfully, there's going to be some truths or some jewels, right? That is going to help you on that path, okay? You're going to discover a lot of your strengths in the darkness. You're going to discover a lot of your power, and your creative abilities. You may be shocked at how creative you really are. You have the power to create. Again, limitless possibilities. So once you come to the understanding that there's no limitations, while life has set its limitations are here in the natural, as your spirit connecting to source, you recognize that you can exist outside of those parameters. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I think that's going to be the message. This was longer than anticipated. However, this was necessary. This is someone that may be starting a journey of self-discovery. First breath. We're talking about breath. We talked about the baby and the umbilical cord. So divine source is just bringing in all the things for us at this time as we close out the message. In the beginning, right? In the beginning, there was a void. There was darkness. And from that darkness, life, breath spoke, and there was creation. Okay? You have the ability to do the same. When you come out of the matrix, so to speak, when you disconnect from that way of being, those frame of thoughts that held you bound to whatever, you will know then. All right, my loves. I hope this finds you in a good space. I hope you're able to receive the message with love, because it is given with love. And don't forget to subscribe if you find that this is a channel that benefits you. I appreciate that. Love you.